The Chargers have made more moves in free agency, and the first move that I want to talk about is Hayden Hurst. This is a tight end that the Ravens drafted, their first round pick, and I think like 2018. So Joe Hortiz has that connection there, liked him enough to draft him in the first round. Another tight end that the Chargers are adding in this tight end room, and this one is actually pretty different than the other one that they added in Will Dissly. Will Dissly, one of the best run blockers. Hayden Hurst, a little bit of a different story here. At first, I actually went to PFF and I saw that he was 13th in blocking. And then I looked and made sure that it was run blocking. It wasn't. It was pass blocking. So I guess he's an okay pass blocker. Didn't have a lot of attempts in pass blocking this past season. I think you can kind of just write off that last year because he was so injured. Didn't play a bunch of snaps, but still, this guy is not going to be a run blocking tight end. He is definitely more of a pass catching tight end, a wide tight end kind of guy. You think of a guy like Brock Bowers that a lot of Chargers fans want on this team. Hayden Hurst kind of fits that mold. Obviously not as good as Brock Bowers does, but still, that's the kind of tight end that we're talking about. He had 95 snaps lined up as a tight end on the in-line of scrimmage, which is basically like hand in the dirt, 2-point stance. Next to a left tackle or a right tackle. And then he had 45 snaps lined up out wide with 108 snaps in the slot. So most of his snaps this past season, he was used as a receiving tight end, not even on the line of scrimmage, on the in-line of scrimmage, like you can expect guys like Will Dissly and probably even Donald Parham this next season to be if he gets playing time. I think if you look at this tight end room right now, we have Hayden Hurst now, who is 31 years old, probably going to be signed to that vet minimum. I also want to acknowledge here, because this is such an important thing, he doesn't count against that comp pick formula because he was released by the Panthers. But anyway, you look at this tight end room. We have Hayden Hurst, Donald Parham, and we have Will Dissly now, who's probably our best tight end at this point, and Stone Smart, all still under contract. And with those four tight ends, a lot of Chargers fans are thinking, okay, Brock Bowers is not going to be a Charger, because I love Brock Bowers. I wanted the Chargers to trade down and select him. Now that's not going to happen because we just signed 2 tight ends in free agency. Listen, bro, this move does not stop the Brock Bowers train to the Chargers if that is who you want them to take. If the Chargers were set previously, before free agency, if they had their mind set on Brock Bowers and they wanted to take him under a specific scenario, if this guy's not here, then we'll take that guy, and Brock Bowers would be that guy, and that scenario did end up transpiring in the draft, the free agency moves of Hayden Hurst and Will Dissly are not going to persuade them to go a different direction. Brock Bowers would still be that pick because guys like Hayden Hurst and Will Dissly, they don't move the needle on your offense, because a generational tight end prospect like Brock Bowers absolutely would. You're talking about a guy that is one of the 14 best run blocking and pass blocking tight ends of the past decade, and also is the best receiving threat at tight end. You can argue Kyle Pitts. So Brock Bowers, if he is the pick for the Chargers, if the Chargers love him so much, these 2 signings in free agency, they don't change that. And on top of that, man, I have been saying for a long time, I think a lot of people have been saying, with the Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh offenses that we're going to be seeing, they have a lot of 2 tight end sets, 12 formation, a lot of 3 tight end sets. That's what they do a lot of the time. Look at the Greg Roman offense with the Baltimore Ravens. Hayden Hurst was even in that offense at times. They had guys like Hayden Hurst, Mark Andrews, Charlie Kolar. They had a lot of freaking tight ends. Patrick Ricard was even a fullback / tight end. So with that being said, yeah, these guys don't move the needles so much that you don't want to bring in a first-round draft pick at tight end, because if they want to do that, they would still do that. I'm not saying whether or not they want to, but if they did, that plan doesn't change. But also, they want to have a lot of bodies in that tight end room. So just signing 2 guys to add to the 2 guys you have on your roster right now, you have 4 tight ends. They're going to want to be like 5 to 6, maybe even 7 tight ends deep if you have one of those tight ends that can also play fullback as well, kind of like what Trey McKitty did. He was kind of fullback tight end, but obviously he wasn't good. Sorry, Trey McKitty catching strays. Let's just not talk about him. But you have somebody that can play that kind of hybrid position like Patrick Ricard did with the Ravens. And remember, I know I always talk about the Ravens, but this offense, it's going to look and emulate a lot of what the Ravens did. So it's not crazy to think that even maybe a guy like Will Dissly could be playing that fullback position next year for the Chargers, as well as tight end, because Will Dissly is one of the best run blocking tight ends in the league. Hayden Hurst now gives you some depth in that tight end room, and you're going to want to have a lot of tight ends in this offense. This move doesn't change anything, okay? A 31-year-old tight end that has injury issues, not coming off a great season, and was just cut by his past team. He's going to be on a vet minimum contract. This doesn't change like any of your decision making at all. It's just what Joe Hortiz was talking about. You want to sign as much depth as possible in free agency and always be adding depth to your team in order to not pigeonhole yourself into drafting a specific position, okay? That's what he's trying to do. He knows he needs a lot of tight ends in this offense because of how much utilization that position is going to get. So he needs to add those bodies. Right now we have 4. By the time training camp rolls around, we're going to want to have about 7 or 8 guys, maybe even 9 guys competing at that spot. And now another big move, and something that I am so happy has happened because this is what I wanted to happen. Joey Bosa likely to remain on this team because the deadline was tomorrow for him to get like, I think, a $7 million bonus. Is that right? It was like a $7 million roster bonus if he is still on this team by Friday. And now he just restructured his contract to save $10 million against the cap. And now the Chargers are looking totally clean cap wise. We have a lot. I don't think we have a lot of cap space, but we do have some cap space. We're going to have to wait and see what happens with the Khalil Mack contract restructure, how many years is added to that. And then we also are expecting Keenan Allen to get restructured, a max restructure / it's really like an extension for both of these guys. You're adding years on the end of their contract in order to move that money around. And the Chargers, you look at their cap space for next year and the year after that, they have over $100 million in cap space. So it was really only this season that they were absolutely hamstrung by the cap. And this Joey Bosa restructure, it helps them out a lot more. I mean, just that Joey Bosa restructure to save $10 million, it would add every single one of these free agents that we just signed. Alohi Gilman, Will Dissly, Hayden Hurst, and Gus Edwards, just because we restructured Joey Bosa. Look at it that way. And if we traded or cut Joey Bosa, then we would have a hole at one of our edge spots. We would need depth there, and we would only be saving $4 million. And again, I've said it before, but I don't think that $4 million, what you could get with that in free agency, is worth the loss of Joey Bosa. Because let's just say, what if he comes back on this team next year with the additions of Ben Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, and he does get back to form? Then how great would that be? I know a lot of people don't like him, but let's just give him a chance, man. I understand the frustration. I am right there with you, believe it or not, but I don't hold it against him. I'm all about second chances. Let him do his thing. So now with that restructure, we can expect that Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and Keenan Allen are retained on this team, plus the additions that we've made in free agency, plus the re-signing of Alohi Gilman. And now it's looking like we're gonna have a lot of cap space actually with the extension of Keenan Allen and Khalil Mack in this Joey Bosa restructure. So we could actually even sign Mike Williams. Bro, please come back, Mike Williams, for just say, I don't know, $6 million. Will you come back for 6, 7 million? I'll give you that because listen, we got some money now. We got a little bit of extra money. I know we just cut you because we had to save that 20 million, but we want you back here, bro. Trust me. I just hope he doesn't go to the Chiefs, but that is everything that happened today. Also, I am giving away a PS5. All you have to do is use my sign up link in the description to create your Underdog account using my promo code McLane. That is MACLANE, and you can deposit $10 and you can get up to $100 of your deposit matched back to you. You don't need to spend any money. You don't need to make any plays if you don't want to, but you do need to deposit at least $10 in order for me to see it and enter you on my end into the giveaway. Here's the PS5, so you know that I am not lying. Spider-Man 2 edition, bro. And if you did not see my video yesterday, here it is right here. I talk a lot more about the Mike Williams cut.